Welcome back. It's Faith Friday here on GMA3, and our next guests know a thing or two about working with their spouse. They are authors and pastors of Vintage Church Malibu in California.
That's right. That's their song that they're actually performing that we hear right there in their new book, Fighting for Family. They reflect on how to build community in the midst of a loneliness epidemic. We've been talking about that all hour. Please welcome Chris and Julie Bennett. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
So nice to have
so
you.
Fun.
Let's talk about your new book. That song, by the way, beautiful. But your book is all about family and belonging. But we're not just talking your blood family. We're also talking your chosen family as well. Tell us, why was this book so important to write?
Yeah, that's right. I think that's what we found, is that, as you mentioned, we're the most connected generation, but it's actually being called the loneliest, most divided generation that's ever lived. And people are looking for connection and belonging. And although we've been married, we have 4 kids, we know that's not everybody's experience. And most people are finding family through their found family or their chosen family. And so we really wrote this to help people kind of get tools to figure out, how do you build belonging, whatever your background and experience is, like right where you are.
Julie, why do you think we're going through this loneliness epidemic that's happening right now, and what do you do to combat it?
Yeah, you know, I think one thing we can all rally around is that we've all been a mess. We've all experienced it. Like, that's the one thing humanity can go, yeah, I get that. You know, in our book, we share these stories of, betrayal in our marriage, cancer relapse, moving 20 times in a new city while I did chemo. And, you know, as we share these tips to removing the barriers to building belonging, we find ourselves in this loneliness where we can relate to the suffering and the hard things of life, but we feel like that we're a burden. We feel like that we don't belong. You know, I think 40% of Americans have 0 to 1 confidant. And so we go, okay, I feel alone and my pain is so great, so it has to be safer to isolate. You know, during my first cancer battle, I had 14 women come and invite me in when I was in a new city. And I had a lot of self-protection I wanted to grab with me, but I had to make the intentional choice to say, I'm gonna show up. I've been hurt in family before. Sometimes I've hurt people, but I have to keep taking the risk so that in this epidemic of loneliness, where our social media, our differences, all of these things, we can still come together and find belonging.
You have 4 kids.
Yeah.
You mentioned all the ups and downs of a normal relationship. How do you work together? How do you guys manage it?
That's a good question. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think what makes family is you go through hard things together. And I think that's what we've realized is, you know, we've had to work really hard because we've been through hard things, and we can either pull away and walk away, or we can work through. And so I think a lot of it is just being open. Like, vulnerability is a core value for us as a family and for our kids. So
it's
even
really
going
easy, right?
Yeah, very easy. But yeah, even all the 20 moves and cancer battles, our whole family went through it, not just Julie. And so we tried to walk in openness and let them know, hey, here's how mom and dad are doing. This is really hard. And they saw us go through the struggle together, which is key. And
you know, one thing we write about in the humility chapter is that 2 things we try and live by. I don't know everything, and I can learn from you. I mean, I do think I know everything a lot of times, which is partly why I have to remind myself I can learn from the person in front of me. And my spouse.
Oh, by the way.
Yeah, and you.
Even with your kids as well, right?
Yeah, and our kids.
We have so much to learn from them.
So much.
So beautiful. And we always do this every Friday. It's one of our favorite parts. We ask for words of wisdom as we head into the weekend for everyone out there watching.
Yeah, you know, I would just say that in this epidemic of loneliness, when we're thinking about building family with those around us, whether you're married, whether you're divorced, single, your chosen family, that, you know, you're not alone. And belonging is not just something that you find, it's something that you bring. And during COVID, we found a group of singles at our table towards the end of it when we could gather, and they said that, and it just touched us so much. So even though you might not feel like you belong, you can bring that to somebody else and watch family grow around you.
We were bathroom friends this morning.
We were bathroom friends. She was singing like,
you guys have already connected.
I did, and then I saw her walk out. I was like, oh gosh, I totally embarrassed myself.
You made my day. You were singing. You were excited.
So lovely.
I know.
It's always fun here on Fridays. Julie and Chris Bennett, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having us.
You can pick up a copy of Fighting for Family everywhere books are sold.
Just ahead here on GMA3, she's known for her comedy, but she's also crafty.
Funny and artsy, yes. Dulce Sloan is here with some great ideas for making something wonderful for mom. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back.